children of all ages, welcome in, once again, to the dungeon of the Doctors of Doom, where I am your host, Alex the Shark Sparks, and joining me this week, it's our fearless producer. Give it up for Vinny, Papa Bear Santucci. We're here, just the two of us this time, so say hello to all the Delvers out there, Vinny.
Wait, where am I? Is this the right call? Is this the right link? I don't know if I recognize this place.
Yeah, it's been a minute. As I've talked about before on the pod, unfortunately, Vinny and Mitch can no longer make the same day, so I've been trying to alternate days so that each week we get different people. Although there's some weeks we just don't do a podcast because no one's available. But this week it's me and Vinny. Next week, maybe me and Mitch, me and Chris, me, Mitch, and Chris, or who knows? Hopefully we have one. We'll see. But for now, we got a lot to talk about, and by a lot, I mean basically just mean more World Cup. There's not a ton of news in other sports that hasn't already been covered. If there is other sports you want to talk about, Vinny, I'll give you the floor first. But also just want to say shout out to Gulshani Lee, our sponsors. They're great. Hit them up. All right. So, Vinny, do you have anything besides the World Cup that you want to address before we go into World Cup action?
I would like to add, I'm pretty sure it'd be, they're great. Hit them up if you get hit up.
Hey-o.
Hey-o, yeah. No, not really. I mean, big week in what I think is the ultimate sport of athletes and champions, golf.
I knew you had
the Open Championship.
I absolutely knew that was coming.
The Open, the 154th Open Championship. So I'd like to see football or baseball do that.
I just want to point out that's how boring golf is. There's been 154 of them, and I still don't care.
Yeah, well, or, I mean, 154 years to perfect the perfect game, as some might say. But
actually,
no,
I had a suggestion earlier that Miles liked, where I said if you add the ability to slide tackle in golf, it might be more interesting.
Yeah, a lot more injuries would be my guess as well.
Mm-hmm.
It would be pretty interesting watching John Daly go in for a slide tackle without tearing ACL.
Counterpoint, he's built for defense. Ain't no way to take him out.
I think Tiger Woods would tear an ACL thinking about it at this point of his life and career. So,
it would get a lot more athletic people into golf.
Yeah, big week for golf. So, I mean, the Open Championship is always fun because it's kind of like who survives. And then, yeah, not a whole lot. The Home Run Derby was apparently exciting. I didn't really watch it myself, but I do know that the winner hit 4 straight home runs on the last ball to win 12-11. So that was actually pretty intense. Probably like they calling it one of the best come behinds in Home Run Derby history. So. Who won? I'm pretty sure his last name is Walker. And didn't even know he played the sport. So that just shows how much I follow current baseball.
I was going to say Texas Ranger, but apparently it's Jordan Walker, outfielder for the Cards.
Oh, outfielder for the Cards. Yep. I mean, 24 years old, so he's probably... In baseball, they don't pump him out like they do in these other sports where they're 19, 20 years old. So... he's probably pretty young and pretty new. But
they get drafted early. That's just going to play early.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of it outside of the World Cup. Big news in major headlines is that apparently the first of its kind in NIL money. I don't know if you've read about this, Alex, but it might even be on the homepage, ESPN. No, doesn't look like it is. So in NIL deals, of the very first of its kind, the host of a neutral site, so the previously called Chick-fil-A Bowl or Chick-fil-A kickoff game. I actually don't know what it's called now. I think the Peach Bowl now runs it.
You and I used to go to the Chick-fil-A kickoff game.
We did. Auburn versus Baylor this year, and Auburn agreed to a deal that their team will split $6 million in NIL money. It looks like they can only divide that between like 20 or 30 players. I can't remember the exact number. And then they have to do, media and marketing on top of that. But it's the first of its kind where a neutral site football game is offering up NIL money, and the goal, I guess, is to draw better competition to these NIL or to these neutral site games to start the season. Kind of like how we get what's Alabama opened with, or Georgia opened with Oregon, Alabama, and Notre Dame. Who was like their big opener last year? I can't remember exactly, but to reward these teams to do that. And I think it's kind of cool, actually. If you're going to pay the players, it's actually kind of cool to pay them for these neutral field games. Now, the interesting thing is, like, does that now make it more important than a bowl game?
I don't think so, because in bowl games you get swag. You know what I mean? Like, you might get like an Apple Watch or, a coupon to Papa John's. So, but I mean, but no, to answer your question, it's not more important than a bowl game as far as notoriety for the school and national acclaim. But for the players, absolutely. Like, if you're a player on that team, I don't know how much 6 million split 86 ways or how many people are on a college team, because there's a lot of them. But it's probably a decent enough chunk of change, especially that a lot of those players do not get normally. So I think for a lot of the players, it absolutely is a big deal. I don't know that it's going to be in the grand scheme of things. At the end of the day, it's still the opening game of the season. But
yeah, and in the grand scheme of things, it's Auburn. Love them to death, but sometimes you're like, you question the relationship. But here we are.
Yep, got to do what you got to do. One other piece of non-World Cup news, I just got to throw it out there because Mitch isn't here to defend himself. Remember how last year Mitch kept talking about where's Kamara going to go? That's going to start the daisy chain of where other players can go. Until Kamara moves, we don't know where the other running back's going to go. Kamara just restructures his deal to stay with the same. So not only did he not get traded last year, it looks like he will be a Saint for the entirety of this year as well.
That's pretty fascinating. Pretty damning for whoever owns ETN in fantasy leagues, or will draft him. So I don't know. Maybe that'll be like an ETN gets beat on first and second down, and now Kamara just becomes the best third down back in NFL history.
It's weird, right? Because it's like, it's almost like they're trying to replicate what they had in the past with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. The difference was Etienne and Ingram are not the same player.
Not
and full disclosure, I think Etienne is probably a more talented player. I'm not like knocking Etienne, but like, he is a pass catching running back. Mark Ingram was not. But like, you're never going to be throwing, like, if you're throwing passes to Etienne instead of Kamara, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Oh, the Seattle Seahawks sold?
Yeah, you did. Oh, yeah, I guess that was news that we could have covered. Yeah, the Seahawks got sold last week, 2 days ago?
Looks like 3 days ago. I missed this. Almost a $10 billion price tag. That is insane. It looks like members of the current family will be part of the new ownership as well. So it's more like divesting their shares. That's kind of cool. Oh, no, just kidding. It is led by a group who presently owns a minority stake in the San Francisco 49ers. So
yeah, so I assume I was going to ask about that. Do they have to sell their shares of the Niners to make this purchase? Surely they do.
Yeah. They'll need to divest their stake in the Niners before. Huh. Pretty interesting. Allen, oh my gosh, the Seahawks have been owned by the same owner since 1997 for $194 million. They just sold for $9.6 billion. How about that ROI, huh? 30 years later, you take $200 million to $10 billion.
That's let me carry the one. That's a lot of cheddar there, Vin. Lot of cheddar. Man, talk about dude. Some people got so lucky with like their I use the word investment slightly, right? Like they buy something early that's like worth whatever, and it's just like worth bank, like Bitcoin back in the day. Like, come on now, that was such a stupid idea, and the fact that it's worked is insane.
Oh yeah, trust me. I was casually hanging out with somebody one day, and they were really mad looking at their phone, and I was like, "What are you so mad about?" They're like, "Oh, I've lost like $15,000 today." I was like, "Oh, that's really unfortunate." and they were looking at Nvidia stock, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I invested like $5,000 into Nvidia, like I don't know, 10 years ago. It's now worth like $1 million." And I was like, must be nice.
Yeah, I had a buddy like that. His grandfather passed away when he was super young, and he inherited like 15K. And his mom asked, even though he was still a kid at the time, he was like 12. His mom asked him, "What do you want me to do with it?" And he's like, "Put it in Google," because that was what they used like at their school computers. And she actually did it. And he's like, "Yeah, I got like 2.5 million now." I was like, "Oh, that's cool, man. I'm glad you had that read as a 12-year-old."
Yeah. Share the load. But all right. Sorry. Welcome to Alex and Vinny talk stocks during the Dungeon Podcast.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to be in an episode of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and maybe a little crypto in there. It's going to be great.
And on top of that, laughing about Alvin Kamara's stock.
Well, I don't think Alvin Kamara's stock was very high to begin with. I think it's more of the Etienne stock that gets hit.
Yeah, definitely not. But it's sounding like Mitch is going to draft a lot of Saints this year. And I think that was
what he said last year. He wanted to draft a bunch of Saints once he saw where Kamara went. He knew the back was going to be great.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he plays it this year. All right, enough lollygagging. Let's go to the World Cup. So obviously there were some games today. Well, there was a game today. There were games previously. And we covered up through the round of 16. So we haven't covered the quarters on the pod, and we haven't covered the semis. But since you weren't here, Vinny, any big standouts from the round of 32 or the round of 16 that you wanted to rehash because we hadn't covered it yet?
Not really. I mean, it's not to try to segue into today, but obviously the surprise is Argentina has somehow, they're like the dude in like a war movie that like gets shot, loses a leg, gets hit in the head, is bleeding on the ground while everybody's dying around him, and then like at the very end they're like dragging themselves out of the pile, still alive. I don't know. That I feel like that's just kind of the moral of like what Argentina has done in the knockout stages. Obviously, well earned. I'm not going to sit there and drag them, but like the Cape Verde game was shockingly close. I'm sure you guys talked about it. By all accounts and purposes, Egypt should have been in the quarterfinals. But yeah, I mean, I think the low-hanging fruit is that, and I'm sure you guys talked about it, that the United States looked like a rec league soccer team out there during their round of 16 match against Belgium. But yeah, definitely some kind of shockers that made it to the round of 32, and not just made it to the round of 32, but actually competed well. Like the Ghana was right there with Colombia the whole time. Australia, Egypt, Cape Verde, Argentina, Congo, basically having England on the ropes for 85 minutes. So, it's been. I feel like every round has just been so good. Like there hasn't been a single round that you're just like, wow, that wasn't. I honestly, this sounds even worse. Probably the one game in the entire knockout stage that was impossible to watch was the United States versus Belgium. It was like the one match that you were just like, this is just terrible soccer. This match isn't close at all. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, well, that's not true. I will argue that most Spain games I want no part of. I'm so upset they're in the finals. Not because I dislike Spain. They're just so boring, man. They're so boring. Spain, Portugal, like on paper, like, oh man, Spain, Portugal is going to be such a good game. That game could not have been more boring.
Yeah.
Probably the most boring game of the tournament for me. Like, my dad and I watched the Switzerland-Colombia game. That game was fire. 0-0 draw. And even in the shootout, there were 3 people that missed the goal. Still a great game. So, yeah, we didn't cover that one last time, but...
Yeah, no, I guess you're right. Yeah, Spain... who would you compare Spain to? Is Spain like the modern day... Was it like the Ravens back when they had Trent Dilfer and you like just didn't want to watch them play phenomenal defense and win games like 13-8. You know, because they're just super meticulous. I mean, their match against France was nothing special, but France didn't really they I don't know, they just played boring possession soccer and capitalize on opportunities that open up. There's something to be said about that. As boring as it is to watch, it's got them to the finals. They had to beat Portugal and France to get to the finals. Like that's
and Belgium, like that's 3 top 10 teams. And I'll say this: they play great defense. That's the thing, right? They also drew with Cape Verde, which is like what? But Cape Verde apparently is an all-star. They play great defense, and that's great. But in a sport like soccer, where scoring is already relatively low, being a team that's built on great defense just is like not that entertaining to watch because of the way they play. It's like we play good defense and we pass the ball around, right? It's like in football, like the Cleveland Browns games. Like even though they had the best defense in football, they were not fun to watch. Now I will say Spain's offense is better than the Browns' offense, but still, like you know what I'm saying, like there have been those teams. Also, back to your point on Argentina, I guess we'll quick transition over to Argentina. So we'll talk about their games here in the quarterfinals and then the semifinals today. So in the quarterfinals, Argentina played against Switzerland. They were tied at 1. Switzerland had all the momentum because Argentina scored first, then Switzerland scored. Switzerland has all the momentum. Then they have a player get an absolutely boneheaded second yellow card, which turns into a red and gets him out of the game. He took a dive. He was on a yellow. He knew about the rule they have this tournament where they can review dives on VAR and overturn them, and he still took a dive for no reason. Gets himself ejected. Switzerland has to play from like the 55th minute onward, down a man, go to extra time, and then as you mentioned, Argentina, they have scored 11 goals after the 75th minute. So the final 15 minutes plus extra time, they've scored 11 goals. For context, England, who made it to the semifinals, has only scored 13 goals all tournament, and they were a high-scoring team. That's how many goals Argentina scores after the 75th minute. And sure enough, you look at that score like, 3-1, Argentina put it on. I'm like, no, they scored 2 of those 3 goals in extra time. And then today, against England, in this is the semifinal, England's up 1-0. Now, and this is, I think, is more England throwing the game than Argentina winning it, but still, you got to give them props. Argentina scored 2 goals in the final 15 minutes to win the game.
Yeah, actually, after the 85th minute. I mean, granted, there was, 11 minutes of stoppage time, but after the 85th minute, that's crazy. I mean, arguably, though, the entire second half was after the England goal. Argentina even during the England goal, Argentina was kind of the dominant. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. But, you said something earlier about how Cape Verde tied Spain.
Yep.
Do you realize that Cape Verde in regular time drew the 2 World Cup finalists?
Yeah,
that's
Cape Verde,
crazy impressive.
Cape Verde's never lost a World Cup game in regular time.
And had the lead on Argentina,
they never had the lead.
Argentina never had the lead. They scored that equalizer right before. Yeah, that's right. Just crazy.
I've seen memes about it, Vinny, like talking about how because for those who don't know the way World Cup works, the people that lose the semifinals play for the third place match, which is going to be England and France. And people are saying it doesn't matter who wins because you already know who third place is, and it's Cape Verde. Because England and France lost to Spain and Argentina. Cape Verde didn't lose either of them.
Cape Verde did not lose to either, though. Yeah.
At least not in regular time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no. I mean, and somehow put up 2 goals against Argentina in the round of 32. But it's been a really good tournament. And then kind of segueing into the round of or the quarterfinals. Norway was just on an absolute hell of a run, and I absolutely hate for them the way that they lost their match against England. I'm not one to necessarily blame like VAR or blame things like that, but if you're gonna have the technology, I feel like you should do it right. And I think the unfortunately the story of this tournament is going to be how bad a lot of those VAR reviews were and how bad the technology was, and kind of the egregious acts that kind of took over a lot of these matches. I think the England red card against Mexico was absolutely egregious. Uh, the way that they overturned the red card for U.S. and Belgium, like, great, I'm glad that happened, but they didn't overturn the foul. They just overturned the suspension, which I thought was wild. So there's just a lot of things that I feel like have gone poorly. And for Norway, it's like you go back to the Croatia game against Portugal, and they lose because apparently the ball touched the guy's hair. And then the ball can strike a cable in the middle of the field, and there's no detection of it. It's just and it immediately led to a England goal. It wasn't like a build-up. It was ball drops England player, like 3-4 passes, goal. So, just, and I think an unfortunate underlying story to the entire tournament.
It's even worse than that, Vinny. So I am going to blame the VAR. You don't want to blame the VAR. I am. The VAR has been abysmal this tournament. So you mentioned, the Croatia game. For those who didn't see it, that game was epic. The Croatia-Portugal game. Croatia scored an equalizer with maybe 2 minutes left on the clock. When in extra time, when they go to review it, you can't see the ball get redirected. You can't even see anything. But there's technology in the ball that there's a blip in the technology when it passes over a Croatian player. It clearly touched a hair in his head. No goal. Goal is disallowed. It's the kind of technology that it ruins soccer. Like, sure, it would take away maybe the hand of God goal, but like, that's fine. That's way much more cheating than going through someone's hair. It didn't affect the ball at all. Your hair is not strong enough. I don't care how much product you put in it. So that was disappointing. And then in this game, you have the ball clearly hit the cable. Everyone and their mother can see it. The ball stops its flight mid-path and plummets to the earth right at the feet of an English player. They then make 2 passes and score. And the reason it's irritating is this is the exact same VAR crew, the same officials that were the VAR crew for the Egypt-Argentina game that cost Egypt a goal when they rewound VAR 4 passes and 100 yards down the field to take away an Egypt goal because of a supposed foul, but you can't rewind the VAR 2 passes and 12 meters down the field to take away a ball hitting a cable. And like you said, the technology in the ball didn't register. What? Because it was too far away from the field when it hit the cable? Like, why doesn't it register there? So, yeah, that was England's first goal. And then also, another reason Norway lost is because Alexander Sorloth is just a greedy, selfish player. He and Holland had a 2v1 breakaway. For those who haven't seen this, Erling Haaland, who is one of, if not the best goal scorer in the world, I guess technically he's officially number 2 based on last season's numbers. In this tournament at the time, he was tied for the Golden Boot race, is wide open in the box. And Sorloth, instead of passing it to him, decides to try to juke the defender a couple times, waits for more guys to get there, and then takes a bad shot that gives him a corner kick, but whatever. It's like, there was the equalizer. Like, this game very easily could have been 2-1 Norway, or at least we got more out of it, which would have been epic. Instead, we get this, and there was no shade.
I think at the time it was to go up 2-0, wasn't it?
Or no, that would have been the equalizer. That would have been the equalizer at that point. They were already down 2-1. Yeah.
Yeah, but there, I will say on that note, it looked like, from my perspective, I'm on the other side of the camp. I've read that there are definitely 2 camps here on that play. That, in my opinion, it looked like he was actually trying to find Haaland, and just the lane never really opened up after kind of the early window. It would have had to be early, and it looked like he was trying to get, I think Stones was guarding him, trying to get Stones to kind of commit to the ball to then pass to Haaland, and it just never really got to that point. Like, the window closed and never opened back up. But yeah, I agree. And then, if you want to really bash VAR, I don't think it was the wrong call per se, but they actually did take Norway's goal away based on a foul for the corner kick by Holland.
Yep, that's true.
And I know they'll sit here and say, "Oh, well, he extended his arms." I don't know. I won't like completely out your take on it, but it's kind of like an OPI situation to me sometimes. It's like there's so much or PI in general. There's so much hand fighting. There's so much BS that's happening on the field. And yeah, Holland's arms were extended and he's a big body, but I don't know. It just looks, sometimes the fouls in soccer, they're just so ticky-tack. I just wish that there was a way that there was more to it sometimes. I think one of the reasons why it's just so fun for me to watch Messi is if you watch him dribble through contact, it's so impressive. Like the guy could go down and flop on probably 80% of his possessions. And a lot of times he like takes on the challenge and just kind of keeps going, you know? And I just wish soccer was played more like that and less like constantly trying to be a James Harden or a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and just flop your way to free kicks and fouls.
So what I'm hearing is you wish soccer was a sport where you couldn't use your hands, which is the rule I've been pitching. It's the rule that I've been pitching.
In this specific situation, it was the hands. I have less problem about the hands. I don't agree 100% with your hand take.
It's a good take, and you know it.
I just wish that like the fouls were clear fouls. You know what I mean? And it wasn't people selling
if anytime you use your hand, it's a clear foul. That makes it really straightforward. It makes it very clear, and there'll be a lot less fouls because people wouldn't be using their hands if they're automatic yellows.
Yeah, but then you also want people just running like Napoleon Dynamite down the field.
And that would be great too. That'd be entertaining. That'd be so entertaining. People getting to use their athleticism.
Just like Velcro straps, just Velcro on the wrists, and then that way they'd have somewhere to like attach it to their hips. And if
you can still swing your arm. The straight jacket thing that Chris wrote. For those who didn't listen to the podcast last, we couldn't have talked about it. Just for clarity, my thing is soccer is famously the sport where you can't use your hands. It's called football in 99% of the world, right? So if you can't use your hands, make it where you can't use your hands. Every time there's a corner kick, there are guys getting hugged so that they can't, move forward or jump. There's a guy with like an arm holding someone back. There's a guy pushing somebody with his hands for a foul. There's so much hand fighting and stuff. If you just made it where, hey, if you're caught using your hands, it is a yellow card. Not a foul, a yellow card. And I know you're saying, like, Alex, you're getting too many people ejected. Yes, I would for the first month. For the first month, you're going to have a lot of games that finish 7-on-5, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people get thrown out of the game. But eventually they're going to adapt and be like, okay, we now understand that soccer is a game where we can't use our hands. It will make the game better because there will be less stoppage from fouls, because when fouls are automatic yellows, you're going to be fouling a lot less. All these stupid tactical fouls that stop fast breaks, they go away. So it's going to come down to more, can a goalie make a save? Can a defender actually make a proper tackle? Like we saw today, Spence made that amazing slide tackle in the box in the England game. Like, that was great to see. That was so much cooler than just, foul a guy, right? So you'll see a lot better, cleaner defense play, people getting to use their athleticism. And I think not being able to use your hands really adds to that. And it could eliminate situations like the one Vinny talked about, because people won't be pushing each other and hugging each other on corner kicks, because they know if they do that, they'll go to yellow card. Imagine how much more fun set pieces would be if every set piece had a chance of a goal instead of it being a 90% chance of a foul. Like, how many corner kicks do you watch this tournament where it's like, oh, there's a foul, now it's goal, now it's a free kick, going the other way, every time. Every time. It's like, what, maybe 2 out of every 10 actually get to play on? Not counting the ones where you take them short, obviously, because, those aren't real corners. It's a whole other argument. It's a good take, Vinny. Don't hate.
I'm just, I can't help but like picturing this take and how much I hate it.
I mean, you agree that Spain was boring to watch. Imagine how much more fun Spain might be if people couldn't use their hands. Then we can see how good they really are. Then if Spain pitches 6 clean sheets in one World Cup when they can't use your hands, that's impressive and fun to watch. That's like watching a no-hitter in baseball, right?
Listen, it's because I think Spain is not necessarily like the most exciting project. I appreciate the way they play. It is such a high quality of soccer. Like, just their ability to control possession, to pass. I know that it's like they're just looking for opportunity. I respect that. Now, if looking for opportunity is the way they scored their first goal, you know, not not my favorite. But since we haven't gotten that far yet,
Yeah, we'll keep the talk down here to the south half of the bracket before we go to the top.
Yeah, but yeah, and then obviously something happened to Holland, where he got subbed off. I want to say sometime in the 75th minute or something like that. It's
No, it was at the start of the start of the second half of extra time, I think.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes,
yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, and that was after England had scored their goal in extra time, so they were down 1 when they took him off the field.
Yeah. But, I knew it was like with like 15, 20 minutes left. I forgot the extra time. You're right.
But yeah, he was clearly hurt. He was obviously hurt. That wasn't a guy who's like, oh, I'm done, I'm tired. Like he was hurt.
Yeah, which obviously kind of shifts the landscape of kind of how that.
And we talk a lot about how we talk about a lot of negative things about athletes. I'm gonna give him mad props. That game ended around 6:30, 7. He stayed in the stadium until 9:30, signing autographs and taking pictures. This is a guy who just lost and got eliminated from the World Cup. And instead of moping and being sad about it, especially considering Norway's not a team that qualifies for World Cup. This is their first time in the World Cup in what, 28 years? Like, it had been a minute since they'd been here. And instead of sulking, moping, dealing with whatever injury he had and had to leave the game, he went and smiled, took photos, and signed autographs. Such class act. I don't know a ton about him, but like, that was super classy.
Yeah, no, it's I think the entire way that he carried himself was pretty impressive, to be honest. And the Norway team as a whole, I mean, they were fun to watch.
Yeah, they were.
It's a fun product for, I will admit that I am a very casual fan, so obviously I know who Holland is. And then outside of that, you're kind of like, oh, Norway. He's Norwegian. Norwegian passes to Norwegian. Oh, there's Holland. I know him.
Yeah. Another fun fact about Norway, 3 of the starters on the team this year, their dads were starters on the team 28 years ago.
Wow, that's actually really cool.
Yeah. Holland being one of them. His dad was a starter. Holland and Sorloth actually were 2 of them. Yeah, so that's the Norway-England game. That was a banger. Argentina-Switzerland game. It was really good until Swiss got a red card. England-Argentina. So we move on to semifinals today. So we kind of talked about it as far as who won, but what we didn't talk about was the tactics. England scored a goal in around the 55th minute and then just stopped playing soccer. Like, they put on 2 additional defenders. They moved to a 5-4-1, which means 5 guys at the back, 4 in the middle, which before they were playing a 4-4-2. So like they changed their scheme. They went full on, let's park the bus, let's play defense. And Argentina ate them up. Vinny, do you know what the possession numbers were for the last like 20 minutes of that game?
Oh God. Just watching it, I'd probably say 70-30.
You lowballed it pretty hard. It was 88-12.
Oh my! I was gonna say 80-20, and I was like, surely it's not 80-20.
The last 20 minutes of this game, when it, which by the way, at that point in time, it was 1-0 England for part of that. Argentina had 88% of the possession to England's 12.
Wow.
And it's like, no wonder they went, and that includes like, okay, now Argentina have tied it. England need to try to score now. They can't just play defense. Still, that's what the possession looked like. So, yeah, you can't just take a knee. You know what I mean? You can't try to run up the clock in the third quarter, and that's what it felt like England was trying to do. They were in the third quarter, like, all right, we're up 1 score in the third quarter. Let's run clock. It's not a winning strategy. So that's one that I think is gonna eat them. Like, yeah, maybe Argentina would have won anyway, but you aren't gonna win games if you don't go for the gusto. Now, I made that joke earlier about how if you don't win by at least 2, it should be a loss to incentivize both teams to play offense. That one was more in jest than my hands rule. My hands rule is very legitimate. But still, I do wish there was something, because like both the semifinals, I don't know if you watched them both, Vinny, but like once there was one team down 1-0, the other team was so much fun to watch. Like Argentina was so fun to watch after they got behind. France was so fun to watch after they got behind against Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like when the game was tied, Spain was kind of meh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then once someone gets a goal, it's like, oh. But we'll talk about that game here in a second. So yeah, anything else on the bottom half of the bracket before we go to the top half?
Yeah, I was looking up an article just kind of about the England-Argentina match. So I don't know. I haven't been I've seen this stat quite a bit. This like expected goals, like little x, capital G,
Sure.
over the course of a game. I'm looking at a graph from today's game, and the expected goals to halftime are like zero point 0.1 by each team. England is at like 0.1 all the way up until their goal, and they shoot up to 0.5 expected goals, and then literally go up 0.1 for the rest of the match. So they, outside of the goal, they have like a zero point 0.2 expected goal. Where if you look at the graph for their expected goals, I was able to find one on CBS Sports. If you wanted to look at it, it's kind of under the recap, but it's honestly, the second half is just dominated by Argentina. They actually had a 1.25 expected goal before Fernandez's first goal, and then obviously the second goal. So it's just an absolute domination. Argentina can only be described as inevitable. I don't know. Maybe it's just their strategy of wear you down, wear you down, wear you down, wear you down, until they just open it up. And watching Messi control the field, the most phenomenal stat about Messi is not only is he the all-time World Cup leading scorer, which most likely will be broken by Mbappe at some point in his career, as long as he kind of remains.
Mbappe's one goal behind, I think. Yeah, Mbappe's one goal behind.
Especially considering if he plays at the level he continues to play at. But he also leads the World Cup history in assists, and he assisted on both the goals today.
Yeah.
Where on Fernandez's goal, his presence and having the ball that late in the game, he pulled two defenders off their mark, and another defender was just kind of standing there waiting for Messi's next move, and then just passes it to Enzo Fernandez on the top of the key and just drills the strike. And then on the second goal, I mean, Messi is notoriously the best left foot of all time, and just sets up an absolute dime
with his right foot.
Martinez with his right foot.
Yeah.
Which obviously, I mean, these are elite players. You watch them cross the ball with both feet, but I mean, it's just, God, it's so hard to just, as bad as Argentina has looked against bad teams, like how do you pick against them at this point? Like they just grind it out.
Honestly, you know what they are to me, Vinny? They're one of those football teams that plays to the level of their competition, right? It's like the Chiefs, right? Like the Chiefs win a lot of football games, but they never blow anyone out. Outside the Raiders, we always get blown out. Let's not think about us. But like, you know what I mean? Like, how many games do you watch where it's like the Chiefs are like in a tight game, but they pull out the W? You know what I mean? They play to the level of their competition. That's just how it is. But they still get the W. The Patriots were a great example of that last year. The Patriots were 14-2, but like they didn't kill anybody, and one of those two losses was to the Raiders. Because they play to the level of their competition, but they have the edge to finish it when it's done. That's how Argentina is. I think Argentina's been playing the level of their competition. Before the last two rounds that they've had to play, or even this last round, the average world ranking of their opponent over the last year has been 65th in the world, because they just haven't been playing good competition. And I think they're just playing a level of competition. Well, today they had to play a much higher level of competition, and they excelled. And if you're looking at my screen right now, this is the shots. So this is England's shots on the right, Argentina's shots on the left. England only generated 5 shots, and how many of these? Because I know going into halftime there were 12 fouls and only 3 shots combined, right? And it's I think after England got their goal, I think they had maybe one more shot the rest of the game. Whereas Argentina just kept going and kept going and kept going.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and here we've talked about how Argentina probably doesn't make it past Egypt without that goal being overturned, but they were down 2-0 going into the 78th, 79th minute, and won 3-2 in regulation.
Yeah,
it you can say all you want about taking a goal away. Argentina still went out there and took that game. You don't just give up 3 goals in 11 minutes, obviously more than 11 minutes, but, let's say 20 minutes of soccer, and, not deserve a win. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, super excited to continue to watch Argentina to play. I know a lot of people are rooting for England. The one thing that I'll say is like when you're not a fan of like England and you don't really care, it's kind of fun to watch these like Chicago Cub, Boston Red Sox-esque teams that haven't won anything in like 100 years. That's how I feel about England. Like they just haven't won any major tournament in so long that I kind of enjoy them just not winning.
I mean, I totally understand your point. My counterpoint was, to me, the most fun team to watch was France because they're the most high-powered offense. And the team that I had the most rooting interest for of the remaining four was England, just because, like, slight English roots. I mean, I'm more Scottish than English, but just, like, slight roots there that I don't have with the other nations. So I was like, all right, for me, I'd prefer France-England. Worst case scenario, it's an Argentina-Spain final. And it's an Argentina-Spain final. Crap. And
yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I will say, and to our 10,000 viewers out there, don't ever repeat this. I also have French and English roots that I choose to not acknowledge.
Wow.
So you would think that I would also be rooting for a France versus England tournament. So I happen to have a decent amount of French, English, and Irish in the blood. So yeah.
All right, let's
but here we are, Spain, Argentina.
Yeah, Spain, Argentina. So let's move to the top half of the bracket and talk about how Spain got there. So we'll start with the France-Morocco game in the quarters. This game to me was never really close. France was the superior team, and they showed that on the pitch. Look at the shot graph here. And the difference in this game is France won 2-0, and they're the ones with all the shots, right? So this is what I'm talking about. The team that was winning still kept pressuring, kept shooting. The team that was losing only got off 5 shots because they just got dominated. But like, even if it wasn't for the fact they got dominated, France dominated them by continuing to press the attack, continuing to press, trying to get the ball back. They didn't just go, okay, because their 2 goals came within 6 minutes, 6 minutes. It wasn't like, okay, for the last 25 minutes we're just going to sit here, play defense. They pressured. That's when they're fun to watch for me. But yeah, as you can see, expected goals 3.69 to 0.14. This game was never close. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it. If not, I'll move on.
Oh, no, sorry. I was pulling up some fact checking, and all of a sudden Samuel L. Jackson started talking about Capital One, and I was trying to figure out where that was coming from. Turns out it was from my ESPN scoreboard. I was like, what is happening? But yes, no, I agree. Like that game, I know I jokingly said that the United States versus Belgium game was like one of the ones that just like couldn't really watch. This was kind of like that. France just the pure domination from beginning to end. It was like you said, it was never really that close. It wasn't. I'm not going to say it wasn't exciting, but it didn't really feel competitive. And I know it was tied up until the at 60th minute or whatever. But yeah, overall, there wasn't really much going for Morocco, and yeah, just
but
kind of similar. Kind of similar to like the first 40 minutes of today's match.
Right, but the difference is this wasn't like a foul fest like today's match was. These was still like France was trying to score even if they hadn't scored yet, so it was still fun to watch. And Morocco had a couple fast break opportunities that obviously didn't pan out, not that many, but like when they did, they tried them. So it's like this game was still fun to watch even when it was scoreless. And it would continue to be fun to watch even after. Like, look, this is after they score. Look at this is a momentum graph. There was a couple swings in both directions, including some huge spikes by France when they're already up 2-0. You know what I mean? Like, both teams continued to play soccer the whole time, even when it was 0-0, even when France had a 2-goal lead. Both teams continued to play soccer. It made it really fun to watch, as opposed to some of the other games where like one team shuts it down.
Yeah, I think if you scroll a little bit further down, which actually you don't typically see it in this direction. Usually the actual goals is lower than expected goals on what I've seen. Or sorry, vice versa. Expected.
Yeah.
The
actual goals is higher than expected goals usually.
Exactly. 3.7 expected goals versus 0.1. I mean, that's quite a staunch difference, and just kind of goes to show you the domination that France had. throughout, and then continuing to put that pressure on, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. All right. So France got that one. The other quarterfinal, Spain, Belgium. I was big on the Belgium bandwagon here. Not because I thought they were great. They weren't. They actually played really poorly all tournament until they played us. And I don't even think that they played great against us. I think we just played so poorly. I didn't blame them for beating us because we sucked. It wasn't anything they did. So I was for Belgium here. And this is unfortunately was a game that was close, was interesting. And then Spain had a super sub come in and score a goal in the 88th minute to get the dub. The super sub, as it were, putting them away. And as you can see, Spain did dominate the match, I suppose. Or excuse me, Spain dominated the match. Spain dominated the stats in the match, but the actual shots, look how many shots Belgium generated versus Spain. They just didn't need as many. But if you look down here, expected goals much higher on the Spain side, possession higher, obviously. But this game wasn't nearly as boring of a Spain game. I will say, the old Spain teams were 1,000 passes in the game. This one was only at 600, so a little more interesting. But still, I was definitely personally on the Belgium train. Not that I thought they were going to win. I just wanted them to. But they didn't. Spain's a good team. Nothing that I'm saying is about Spain being a bad team. In fact, this was the only goal Spain has conceded the entire World Cup was to Belgium. This is the only goal they conceded. Yeah. So they've been a great team offensively.
I agree though. You were talking about Spain, kind of a somewhat boring product. I don't think that was a boring game.
No, it wasn't.
I thought that was actually a pretty good game, and Spain dominated. I know that their product is a little bit backliney and midfieldy overall, where it's just dinky, as evidenced by a 90% accurate pass mark on 600 passes. But I think that's kind of the beauty of how they play, and when it goes right, and you have 70%, 70% to 30% possession. They're just waiting for their opportunity to strike, and obviously on a team like Belgium that actually has a pretty good defense, they still found their chances. It's just not as the build-up isn't as fast. It's not as rapid or exciting, but they're still going to get their shots. I mean, look at this: 8 shots on goal. The 2 goals, they dominated that aspect of it. So, I wonder, and I know we'll talk about it later. I think this is the Spain that we're going to get for Argentina for most of it, depending on. Actually, you know what? I disagree. I'm gonna change. I think we get the Spain that played France. So I'm sorry, Alex.
I sure
it's
hope
probably
not.
not going to be.
I sure hope not. I hope we get the one that played Belgium. But yeah, another thing about Spain, I think 2 things. One is they don't have a star player that makes them flashy. Yes, Lamine Yamal is a star player. He just turned 19 actually a couple days ago, but he hasn't had a star World Cup, which that's because he's part of a team, not an individual. But they don't have that one, all the other big teams that made the Final Four or what have you. It's Norway had Erling Haaland, who scored 7 goals. Harry Kane has 7. Jude Bellingham has 5. Mbappe has 7. Messi has 7. So all these other big powerhouse teams had these huge goal scoring numbers, and Lamal has 1. So it's their big highest scorer, Oyarzabal, I can barely even pronounce his name. He's just consistently, and he's good, but he's not flashy, and that does take away from some viewers. And I would say I don't mind it not being flashy. I don't like the mad defense, man. They play mad defense, which it's great. I mean, it's good, but to use a comparison, Vinny, you talked about how they're kind of just doing everything correctly. They are the WNBA of soccer. They're all about fundamentals. They do fundamentals better than anybody else, and that's great. But man, it's not fun to watch.
Yeah, I also going to disagree with star player. I think Rodri is one of the best players in the world.
I didn't say not good. I want to be very clear. When I say star, I mean flashy star power. I don't mean not elite. Just
Okay.
Yeah. Unai Simon is an elite goalkeeper. Rodri's an elite midfielder. I'm not saying these guys aren't Yamal is an elite, forward attacking player. I'm not saying they don't have elite talent. Kukurea is a very good defender. I'm not saying they don't have elite talent on the team. I'm saying they don't have flashy star power on the team.
Yeah. I was saying, I think Danny Olmo's star. I mean, they've got, somehow they're still very good. And getting the Lamine Yamals of the world, kind of mixing this youth into their, they were supposed to be in this, passing of the guard. And
Fabian Ruiz has played 49 games for Spain. He's never lost. So,
and I believe Pedri is one of the best players. I mean, their midfield is absolutely disgusting, actually, between Danny Olmo, Pedri, and Rodri. Or did Pedri come in as a sub? Is he a super sub?
Well, a lot of teams change up lineups in different games, which is one of the things I'm going to talk about. England had three new starters for the game against Argentina, which I thought was strange, to completely change up your starting lineup. I know in this game, like you said, Pedri didn't start in this game, and one of the reasons he didn't start was because they started Fabian Ruiz, who did not start any other game this tournament. But they started him against Belgium, and sure enough, he scored the first goal.
It actually looks like they started Ruiz against France as well. So
I'm sorry. I'm up until this point.
No, which is interesting, and it's going to be. I know that you don't want to talk about Spain's boring product anymore, but I'm looking forward. It was actually the two teams that I wanted. I've been joking the entire time that the Final Four, I hope that there's an earthquake or lightning strikes that we actually don't have to watch any of these teams play in the finals, despite the fact that all four of them are probably the four best teams in the world.
It was the first time in 60 years that the top four ranked teams going into the tournament made the Final Four.
That's impressive.
Yeah, not like March Madness where you pick chalk and you're probably going to get there. So.
Yeah, and I think we all know this is once Messi retires, Argentina I don't think they have the firepower to replace him and continue to be the product that they are on the field. So
people keep saying that. We'll see. Yes, Messi's a massive difference maker. I'm not trying to say he's not, but a lot of these teams play to their superstar. Argentina plays around Messi. A lot of guys play differently than they play on their club teams because of the way the Argentinian team goes through Messi. There's nothing that says they can't just change their tactics, and maybe being the number one team in the world, they're the number 5, but that still leaves them in the hunt. You know what I mean? Same with, people talking about Portugal. Portugal might very well be better with Ronaldo being a super sub instead of a starter, right? They could have played a different strategy, not having to play 10v11 for most of the game, right? So I just think just because these aging stars have their teams built around them doesn't mean the team wouldn't be good without them. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Are they going to be the same? Of course not. I just think that there's nothing that says they might just play a different strategy that's not built around one player and still be a very top tier team with the talent that they have.
Yeah. I'm going to say something that is maybe controversial. I just think if it wasn't for the fact that they play in South America, and I know there's a lot of very strong teams in South America, I could very easily see Argentina going the way of Italy. And Italy they lost Pirlo. And the minute that they lost Pirlo, they did not have someone in the midfield to manage a game, to direct the game. They were never the best, even though they won the Euros that year, and then made a magic run to the finals. They were never the best, but they had Pirlo who could manage it, and they had a good enough supporting cast around. And I think Argentina has better players overall, but I could very, very easily see them going the way of Italy. I think, again, there is a benefit that they play in South America where their talent will just allow them to be one of the top however many teams, 6, 7, 8 teams that they get into the World Cup. But I don't think they're going to be competitive.
I mean, look, that may be, but I just think, Here, I'll give an example of why I think they might be fine. So, Julian Alvarez hasn't been able to play pretty much all tournament. He finally got his first start in the quarterfinals in way of Lautaro Martinez. And what do you know? He scored a goal in that game, and then which was the go-ahead goal in extra time. And then in the England game today, he scored the game winner. Or not, yeah. He scored the game... Sorry, Martinez scored the game winner. And Martinez came in as a sub after Alvarez started. And it's like, both those guys would both be on the field at the same time, having two real threats up front, instead of Messi. Not that he's not a threat up front, but Messi like plays that game where he kind of walks around until it's time to move. You'd have two young active players moving around. I think it makes your team look very different. So, are they as good? Obviously not. But I don't think they're going to have as huge of a fall off as people think. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
All right. One more game to talk about in the top half. France, Spain. I could not have hated this game more. This game was ruined for me in the 20th minute by a penalty. For those who don't know my take on penalties, I hate them. I think they just ruin the game. You should earn your goals. It's one thing if a guy has a one-on-one with the goalkeeper and he gets his legs kicked out from under him. Okay, fine, give him a penalty kick. But if the foul doesn't stop an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, get out of here with that. This one, I don't know if their video is going to be here, but there is a defensive player on the very outer edge of the box who's looking up at the ball in the air, getting ready to try to kick it. Lamine Yamal runs into it with the back of his shoulder. Like, makes no play to actually get the ball. And so when the player goes kick it, he kicks Yamal. Foul, it's technically in the box, penalty kick. Now, if he doesn't touch Yamal runs right past that ball, has no chance of making a play on it. Nothing happens. The ball gets cleared, no problem. Instead, there's a penalty, which of course they convert because if you miss penalty, quite frankly, you kind of suck. They're super easy. And now we have the situation where Spain, this great defensive team, just gets to play defense and keep away for the rest of the game. They ended up getting a second goal, but that was on a fast break opportunity because France had to play with their whole team up front trying to score. And I just think it kind of ruined the game from there. And sure, it was fun watching France frantically try to score throughout the game, but this game could have been so much better if we got to see these two juggernauts going at it the entire time instead of one team desperately trying to score because the other team got that early penalty goal. Like, look at this momentum graph other than this one brief section of the game.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think it's drastically favored in France's spectrum. I mean, but then if you scroll further down, you look at the expected goals and big chances created and big chances missed. I mean, obviously, they did the most with their opportunity. Like, France still had, 10 shots? 3 shots on goal, 10 shots overall, and still only 0.3 expected goal. I don't... Here's the thing
real quick though, Vinny, the point that I'm making though is the game looks completely different because of the 1-0 lead that happens at the 27th minute mark.
Yeah.
That's my issue is like, yes, I understand the final stats look like Spain deserved the win, and maybe they did, but I'm saying like this game looks completely different if they don't get a cheap free goal in the 22nd minute. That Pedro Porro goal, it was great, but it probably doesn't happen. That was a fast break goal. That fast break doesn't happen if France isn't desperately having 9 guys forward with only 1 guy back playing defense. Because they wouldn't be doing that in a tie 0-0 game.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think part of it, when we're talking about these like rules and things that we like or don't like is that is a rule of the game. And when you play a game, you understand that there's certain things that you're allowed to do on a field and certain areas that you need to be a little bit more mindful of. And I'm going to just go out on a limb and say that even though I hated that goal, it was also, that penalty, it was also a valid penalty based on what happened. Like,
yeah, I'm not arguing. It was a valid penalty within the rules of the game, and Lamine Yamal made a brilliant play. It was a very intelligent play that he did. I'm just saying it ruined the game for me personally.
Yeah, no, I agree. And listen, I thought it was a terrible penalty. I mean, it is. It's one of those that makes you think, man, I wish the box was smaller, or if it doesn't eliminate a clear goal scoring opportunity, do we just do a free kick from outside the box? Like, is that what? But then you're talking about changing the spirit of the game altogether. But
Yeah,
I
but
do
it's more
agree.
of when's the next time you're going to have the opportunity to see the number 2 and number 3 ranked teams in the world playing against each other with high stakes on the line?
Right.
We may never.
No,
we may
I
not see
agree.
this again for 4 years.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I think it did change the game quite a bit. I think in your mind it probably would have been interesting to see France go up 1-0 to see, like, okay, now France actually
That
with
game
all
would
the
have been
firepower.
amazing because France keeps trying to score and Spain has to try to score. Oh, that'd be a dream come true.
But I also will say, like, I think in sports it's really easy to get sucked into the offensive bias. Like, you do realize Spain took a 1-0 lead on a team that starts Olise, Mbappe, and Dembele and held them scoreless the rest of the game after that PK. Like, you just took like 3 of the 10 best players in the world. I don't know if Dembele still is as good
he
as.
won the Ballon d'Or this year, so
Yeah. So yes. Obviously, you could even probably argue 3 of the top 6 or 7 players in the world, and still knowing they needed to score, held them without a goal. I think that's more impressive. I think being able to do that, take a 1-0 lead that early in the game, and there's still 70 minutes of regulation left, and still being able to hold Mbappe and Olise and Dembele out of, I guess, the net. Yeah, that's. I know that it's not a fun product, and they kind of just sat back. But you also bagged on England for sitting back today. So Spain did it against the best team in the world, against the best strikers in the world.
But the difference in the way that Spain did it, even when they were up a goal, Spain had some moments where they still did something, including the goal that they got. Now, again, they wouldn't have not have got this goal if France was playing defense like they normally would have. But the fact that Spain was still trying to generate offense at points in the game after getting their goal, whereas England did not. That's the difference, right?
Right. But I know that you're like, this game actually kind of ended up being boring after that, or kind of stuff. I still think that it's kind of like, Spain should be sitting there pounding their chest, saying, "Put some respect on my name."
Yeah, I want to make it very clear. I wasn't saying it was boring. I think look at this graph. Watching France from from the second goal onward was a absolute treat to watch. What ruined it was the fact that, like, to me, I would have loved to have seen 2 teams with that intensity, because the 2 best teams in the world both needing to score to take the lead over the other would have been so fun to watch. But starting at the 22nd minute, Spain knew, okay, we don't have to score. Now, it's great if we can, we don't have to. England played a game of, hey, we're not even going to try. Spain wasn't playing we're not going to try. Spain was just playing we're going to be cautious and ticky-tack and pass, because that's what we do, and we're good at it, and that's fine. But it makes it more fun, at least for me as a viewer, when both teams are in a situation where, like, we need a goal so this doesn't go to a shootout, as opposed to Spain's like, we don't have to score. If we do, great. We don't have to.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the flip side where I agree with that, where, like, the game itself, but some of the most fun moments of this entire World Cup have been a team down 1 goal or 2 goals with less than 10 minutes on the clock or 15 minutes left in the match, and
when they earn those goals, Vinny, I have no problem with that. When they earn, like, if Spain's goal in this match was Lamine Yamal hitting a banger, or Cucurella putting a nice cross in the box, and Fabian Ruiz, volleying it into the net, I'd be okay, cool, great goal. But a penalty kick on something that had nothing to do with an attacking opportunity, that's what gets me. Like, I don't want to show it because, by the way, our last video on YouTube you can't watch because it got copyright stricken by FIFA. So I'm not going to do it this time, but, like, if you want to see this, go look up how they got this penalty kick. Like, I kid you not, it is a ball super high in the air that the French player is standing maybe 2 inches from the edge of the box, looking up in the sky, waiting for it to come down. Lamine Yamal just runs past him to where the ball hits him, like, on the back of his shoulder blade. He doesn't even see the ball. He just knows it's coming down, letting it touch him. People started to argue for a handball because it basically hit his arm, and it caused the French player to kick him because he thought he was going to kick the ball when it was coming down. Foul. It did nothing. If the French player didn't kick at all, just stood still, Lamine Yamal just runs past him and the ball goes the complete opposite direction.
Yeah.
Like it was a very intelligent tactical play by Yamal. He was not in any way trying to get the ball and score.
No, no. I will say it was actually kind of funny. I do think, even though the Mall earned the penalty, it actually looked like that kick hurt.
Oh yeah, I know. He
I
look, it
don't
was a
think
foul.
he was milking it down there.
I'm not saying it's not a foul.
I laughed pretty hard because like it's like we talked about how it's like if it's a foul, I wish it was a foul. And in that instance, Yamal got kicked, and you could tell like kicked him square on the hip. It hurt. He wasn't just down because it didn't hurt, because like he got up and was kind of like, it's like a massive dead leg. You got to think this dude was trying to clear the ball, some of the most powerful legs in the world. Just straight
I really want to show it. I really do.
Squares up your hip bone. Yeah, but where it happened, and on a very clearly non goal scoring opportunity when it happened, I completely understand your point. It's just one of those where, the rules are the rules. So unfortunately, that defender probably should be a little bit more mindful of where he is on the pitch. It'd be like, oh, that was really dumb that the goalie touched the ball outside of the line. Yeah, I know, but like, he just wasn't paying attention, so.
No, I totally get your point. I mean, like, that is a very fair point. The defensive player needs to know better. He should be a bit more aware of his surroundings, given that he is in the box. Completely agree with that comment.
But I'm
not in any way saying. I just want to be very clear to people listening. I am not in any way saying that that it was not a foul. I'm not in any way saying it was not a smart play by Jamal. I'm not even in any way saying that Spain should not have won this game. They may very well would have won it anyway. They are the European champions for a reason. I'm just saying I hate penalties in general, and I didn't like that an early PK affected this game. I'll be straight with you. I don't care who's playing outside the United States. If there's a penalty kick, I'm for the goalkeeper. Like,
I can see that.
Even if it's like another team that I'd be rooting for, like England versus like a team I would never be for, like Qatar, I'd be cheering for the Qatar's goalie to stop that kick because I hate penalty kicks.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know if you guys have talked about it, but we've had quite a bit of laughs off pod about our thoughts on games going to PKs.
Dude, just look at these PK lines: 4-3, 3-2, 4-3, 4-2. Like, how many times we miss in the net, guys? Those aren't saves.
Yeah. Was it Netherlands and Morocco that was like absolutely painful to watch?
It was 3-2.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the Netherlands missed the goal on their threes. I don't think they were saved. I think they were.
Yeah, so 2 hit the post, 3 hit the post, 1 way out here.
Yeah. Does it show what team is which, or is it just?
So I want to point out this little circle, the line third, is a save. There was 1 save. This went 3-2, which means there were 5 missed PKs. Only one of them was because it was saved by the goalie. 3 people hit the bar. 1 guy missed the net.
Yeah.
In 10 tries. That's a 50% conversion rate on a 15-yard kick where the goalie is not allowed to move until you kick the ball. Like, come on.
Yeah, it actually said, Netherlands had 2 misses and a save. It's kind of underneath, and then 2 missed by that was a hard one to watch for sure.
Yep.
It was tough. But what are we thinking? Spain versus Argentina. What are our thoughts on that final matchup?
Well, hold on. Before we talk about the finals, I want to talk about. Let's talk about the third place match real fast, okay? So normally, the third place match, you just play all your backups, right? You give them experience because they don't care, because like who cares about third place? You know what I mean? But the golden boot's still on the line here. Mbappe and Messi are still tied. Harry Kane is still 1 goal back. Jude Bellingham's still 1 or 2 goals back. Like, do the Stars play in this third place game, at least the ones in the Golden Boot race? Now, I know they'll say they don't care, and I'm sure they don't. I remember seeing Mbappe's face when he was given the Golden Boot last World Cup 4 years ago, as he had to stand on stage with Argentina that had just beat them in the finals. He was not a happy camper about winning that award. But it might be different now that you've had a few days to process it. You're not even playing for the championship, so it's not like you're going to be getting this award right after you've lost the championship. It'll be the day before, and in a third place game. Do you think the Stars, or at the very least the guys in the Golden Boot race, play in this game?
Actually, what's interesting is I just pulled it up. So the goal scorer props, I go to odds on there for that game. Mbappe does not have a single odd on here. So I don't think there's been an announcement that Mbappe is not playing, but judging from what I'm seeing, Mbappe is not playing. Like, he does not have odds for a goal, an anytime goal, first goal, 2+ goals. Harry Kane does. Harry Kane is the leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah,
so Olise does.
So Kane and Bellingham both are 2 back. Mbappe is tied, but he's an assist back, so now he's no longer in the golden. Like, if none of those guys play, Messi wins it.
Yeah.
Unless Oyarzabal has a 4-goal game, because a hat trick won't even do it because he's behind an assist.
So I mean, here's the interesting thing is, if you look at goal scorer prop bets, anytime goals, here are the names that are the leaders right now for the third place game of anytime goals. Harry Kane at 1, Ivan Toney, England, Ollie Watkins, England, Marcus Thuram, France, Mateta, France,
so far, everyone you
Barcola,
named,
France.
Hold on, everyone you named up to Barcola does not start normally.
Right.
Just for clarity.
Olise, France, Jude Bellingham, England. So there are, aside from Harry Kane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players who are not prolific goal scorers in this tournament. And then you get Olise and Bellingham. So I think it's safe to say that the odds for Bellingham and Olise are maybe caked into the fact that they might not play, or if they do play, it won't be much. I don't know why Harry Kane has such high odds.
My only guess would be Harry Kane is an older player. This may be his last rodeo. He may want to try to go out, getting a goal, getting an award. But again, he needed a hat trick. Kane and Bellingham both need a hat trick. It's really a 2-horse race, because I don't think a hat trick's happening. I mean, it's possible. France is not a great defensive team, but it's really going to come down to Mbappe versus Messi, the same way it did last World Cup. And last World Cup was a lot more interesting because they were playing each other, and it went back and forth all game until Mbappe got it, even though his team lost. This time, Mbappe has to play the game before. Like, we may go into the finals knowing Messi has the Golden Boot. I kind of hope that doesn't happen. I would love for Mbappe to play and get, like, either an assist or a goal, just so Messi has to do something to get it. Not that he didn't have to do something. He's in the World Cup finals. He's playing to win. He's not playing to get a goal. But it would just be another story. And who doesn't want more stories?
Yeah. It would be interesting if Oyarzabal has 3 PKs. That would put him at 8. So.
Yeah, but again, he'd still be 3 assists. The problem is he needs a 4. No, he's got to drop a quad.
I'm just laughing at the fact that he can get there with PKs, as he's a PK specialist, and I know how stoked you'd be if the final came down to PKs.
Also, how good is Haaland, man? Look at his minutes played for the number of goals he had compared to the other guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna beat a dead horse for Haaland this tournament. Like, we talked about it.
And he would have an 8th goal if Sorloth passes him the ball. He has an 8th goal, and he would have played a game today potentially to go to the finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we were kind of talking about it offline in the Norway-Brazil match. Like, you have one job. Yeah. Anybody that plays Norway has one job. And your one job is to make sure that Erling Haaland does not get the ball.
Yeah. Hey, not to put you on the spot, Vinny, but without looking, can you name another Norwegian player besides Haaland and Sorloth who I've been talking about?
I think there's a Berg.
There is. It's Berge. There's Berge, yeah.
Yeah. There's like a Soy. Is there a Soygard? Maybe. And then there's
A Shajeljerup.
no, that
Oh,
wasn't the guy.
there's two Bergs. I was gonna say I think there's two Bergs. There's Bird and Bergie.
Yeah, who's the guy over there on the far right, number 10?
Odegaard. Yeah, so that's the I was talking
Odegaard.
about the three guys whose dad played 28 years ago. It's these three.
Yeah. Okay.
And then of course my favorite player, Oscar Bob. So
Noosa was the other one that I couldn't remember, but yes, you're right. Like I don't like without watching these matches, I would have only known Holland. Sorloth was who I was thinking. Sorloth was actually.
I said you couldn't name him because that was the one I kept talking about, right? So
yeah. Who's the guy that? Schilder.
Yeah,
he was fun to watch.
I'm not taking a shot at that name. That's
I'm not taking a shot at that. But Berg and Noosa were a lot of fun to watch as well. But I'm not gonna lie. Oh yeah, Ryerson. I remember watching Ryerson get all worked up. He kind of came out like Simeone today in that match. But yeah, I would not. Aside from just watching Norway because I thought they were a ton of fun to watch, I wouldn't even have been able to give you Sorloth. So I would have just been stuck on Holland. And the fact that he still has 7 goals in this tournament, you're like, what are we doing, guys? And he didn't even play, Alex. He didn't even play against France.
No, he didn't. He sat a game out.
So
that's
yeah.
His minutes played is so much less because Messi's is so high because they go to extra time every game. Same with Harry Kane. You know what I mean? And Harry Kane never comes out of the game. But yeah, impressive.
Yeah, genuinely.
So is Quinones. Who knows how many goals he could have scored if Mexico went further. Look how few minutes he played and he had 4 goals. Same with Saar.
Yeah, Mexico was a lot of fun to watch until they weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of went into it, I remember how I said I like watching England lose. And England's that team that I always think everybody thinks they're better than they actually are. And I know that they keep getting kind of deep in these tournaments because they are a good team. But I never think they're a great team. And so I'm always like, God, kind of frustrating.
You know what it is? I think England's supposed to be the 4th best team in the world, and I think they just are the 4th best team in the world. If they play one of the top 3 teams, they're going to lose. If they play a team below them, it'll be a close battle, but they're going to win. That's just who they are.
Yeah. No, I think that's a perfect way to sum it up.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in the same stratosphere as perfect. Yeah, they're definitely not in the same stratosphere. If they played France or Spain in the finals, let's say they do beat Argentina, there's no way that anybody thinks that game would be close.
Yeah, just look if you look at all the game, I have to go back here, which is kind of wrong. It was France blows the doors off Sweden. Close game against close game as far as goal, but it was never in doubt who's going to win that game. They blew out Morocco. We looked at those stats earlier. Blowout in their knockout games. Now let's go to Spain, right? Blowout Australia. Close, boring game, but they were never in doubt. They dominated the game against Belgium, even though it was a close game. They did have to score at the end to win it, but they dominated statistically in the game. They dominated statistically against France as far as the win and some of the other possession stats, but not the game itself. But still comfortable, good wins in all but one of the matches. And then you go to England, sweated it out against DR Congo. So close. Barely pulled it off against DR Congo. Barely pulled it off against Mexico and the game of the tournament for me. Barely pulled it off against Norway. And then lose against Argentina. They had to fight for everything. Now so did Argentina. The difference was Argentina barely beat Cape Verde, but they were never in danger. They were never behind in this game. This game they were. This game they escaped. Barely escaped.
Severe danger.
This game after the 55th minute, they were in cruise control from there on. This game, after the 75th minute, they turned it on. So they've been in danger, but they found ways to win. Whereas England did not look as convincing when they did find a way. When England found the way to get the winning goal, you didn't feel like it's because England was all over them. Argentina, we talked about, had 88% possession for the last 20 minutes of this game. You had a feeling they were the better team on the field. At no point in any of these 3 games did I think England was just the better team. I'm not saying they weren't. I'm just saying you didn't watch the game and think, oh, England's just better, and that's why they're going to win. Whereas when you watched the last 20 minutes of this game, once Argentina gets that first goal, I think I speak for everyone. I'm Argentina's going to win this game, right? Once they got that first goal and the game was tied, you're Argentina's going to win.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Honestly, watching them in the second half, you were like, Argentina's going to win this game eventually.
Yeah.
At least you thought statistically that's where the odds lied.
Yeah.
Yeah, but kind of going back to the England-Mexico, the game of the match for you is what I was going to say is I didn't really know who I wanted to root for. I was like, oh, living in the United States, like, especially here in Southern California, a lot of people are really hyped up on Mexico. Like, that's kind of fun. Like, the U.S. and Mexico at that time were both still in it. It'd be really cool to watch both of them go pretty far. I got to that game. I started watching it, rooting for Mexico. Immediately realized why I don't like rooting for Mexico. It is so painful to watch. I mean, like you said, the Quinones thing reminded me of it. They are the whiniest team in any major sport. You can't convince me otherwise. Like, watching them play, constantly just complaining and throwing their hands up and yelling at the refs, I was like, this is hard for me to watch. And I, in the middle of the game, switched to rooting for England and wanting Mexico to lose because I was like, I can't do this. I can't. This is why the U.S. and Mexico have such a big rivalry in soccer. Mexico's kind of dirty, and they just whine.
And also, it's the 5th of July, and there was something about England losing on the anniversary of our revolution. So, there was that played into it too. I saw a lot of signs like, I just hope they both lose, was like a very common sign I saw for this game.
Yeah. Speaking of, because I haven't been on for a while, I believe I shared this with you.
And now you're going to tell the world that you're coming out? Go for it.
Yeah. Now I'm ready. It was a tweet that the Merriam-Webster Dictionary sent out on the 4th of July.
You did share this with me. But yes, go ahead.
And it says, why is it canceled, CANCELLED, in the UK, but cancelled, CANCELED, 2 L's for UK, 1 L for the US. And the Merriam-Webster Dictionary says, because we gave them that L in 1776.
So good.
If whoever is managing Merriam-Webster, for those that don't know, Merriam-Webster's dictionary has been the dictionary that everybody knows. If you need a definition of a word and you don't go to Merriam-Webster, then you weren't born in our timeline or our generation for sure.
And
so just the fact that someone is managing their social media account, it just bags the UK so hard.
That's not the only time. They're honestly like Wendy's, Vinny. Like, their Twitter is fire. Like, the Webster Twitter, like they put out some burns like on the regular.
Oh, here is a pinned post from September 12th, 2025. Booty and butt are synonyms. Call and dial are synonyms. But a booty call and a butt dial are very different things.
Yep. Our podcast is fun and educational. All right, now we're going to talk about the final. We talked about the third place match. I asked you about whether or not they're going to play. So you seem to think that Mbappe is not going to play, is what I'm getting from you based on betting odds.
Yes, I don't think. There's no way that based on the betting odds currently, and this is just like clicking on ESPN and going to odds in this match, and Mbappe's not even on the list. Olise and Bellingham are surprisingly far down the list as anytime goal scorers. So it looks like it's going to be a whole bunch of backups playing.
Yeah, I'm going to say that I don't think he starts, but I think there's a world where if France is behind or even with, say, 15, 20 minutes left, we might see him come off the bench.
Yeah.
But we'll see. All right. Move to the final.
Controversial thought here.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
If this is the product that continues to happen in the third place game where the starters don't even play, do you even continue to have it? Like, what really is the point? Like, you had the better backups. Like, oh, we've done this historically. Like, but why even put this out there? It's kind of like bowl games nowadays in college football. Like, it's just backup. Like, the star player is not even playing half the time because they want to get drafted.
The benefit is that it is experience on the world stage for your younger players. So there is a benefit to the country's program to make that game, even if it isn't necessarily a benefit to the fans, right? If you're France or England, you get to see your young stars and they get to get some experience on a major world platform playing a game in front of a large audience with some stakes, not high stakes, but some stakes, so that next time they're ready when they might be moving into those starting roles when they're older. So it benefits England and France to play this game, even though as a viewer, you're going to be disappointed if you're watching, who are these guys for England and France? They haven't played all tournament? ?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, as long as people have their TV sets on, which I admit I will, they're gonna keep doing it because they make money. It's all about the ratings. So
yeah.
Same way we keep adding random games in the NFL or bowl games in college. Anyway, all right, let's go to the final because we're running low on time here. Spain and Argentina. So I think this is the number 1, number 2 team in the world. We've got the South American champions versus the European champions. You've got the reigning World Cup champions. You know, if you said at the start of the World Cup it's going to be Argentina, Spain, people will be like, yeah, okay. And that's what we got. Spain, currently the favorite. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is when I saw the final 4 teams, the 2 teams that I kind of wanted just based on selfish reasons. But I think it's going to be a really interesting match. I was trying to say that I think the Spain we were going to see was more the Belgium version. And then I started thinking about it, and I kind of disagree. I think we're going to see the version that was played against France. I think we're going to see a team that is going to be super conservative, super opportunistic. A team that is going to calculate their decisions and probably hang back and prevent Argentina from doing what they did to England, which is pressure. So I don't know. I really think this is going to go either way. I think Spain is the favorite for a reason. I actually think if I had to pick a team that's going to win, I would put my money on Spain right now. Just based on the style of football they're playing and the quality.
Oh, I take it back. Actually, I think Argentina's the favorite. Actually, looking at these odds. Sorry, go ahead, man. I'll talk about it after.
So no. Money line plus 130. Yeah, no. It's straight up is Spain. But it looks like it's shifting a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. This under 2.5. The way they wrote this trips me out. But yeah, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. The way they wrote that is kind of weird. But they're just showing what the
I saw plus 125 minus 175. I was like, oh, Argentina's the favorite, but this is for under 2.5 goals. Like they just put this in a weird way. I think.
Yeah, they did. That is kind of a weird way to write it, though. Very weird way to write it. Also, a plus 195 for a draw. That doesn't even make sense. You can't even tie.
I was going to talk about that. So, couple betting things for all my gambling addicts out there. If you bet for the draw, what are you doing with your life? Okay, there's going to be a winner because it's the World Cup final. Now, for those who are going to clap back, because I know what the people are going to say. Well, technically, it goes down as a draw if you lose by penalties. I'm aware that if you lose by PKs, that it is technically a draw, even though you lose the match. But bruh, come on. Don't be betting on a draw in the World Cup final. Somebody's going to win this game. Secondly, Nico Williams is hurt and has not played the entire World Cup. I don't care how good his odds are. Do not bet on him to score 2 goals. It's not happening. He may not play. He hasn't played all tournament. Just throwing that out there. So for the betting people out there like, oh man, these are some great odds. Yeah, no, don't do it. Don't do it. All right, you want to take a risk? Go for Julian Alvarez. That's a good risk to take. Do not go for Nico Williams. All right, I had to get that out there for our betting friends.
Yeah, no, I agree. I won't be surprised if Argentina pulls it off. I think Spain's a better team. I think Spain's a better team right now. I don't know how you bet against a team who in their last 3 matches have beaten France, Belgium, and Portugal.
Yeah, just look at the brackets they had to go through to get here. Let's talk about that, Vinny. So you just talked about how Spain's last 3 matches, France, top 5 team in the world, Belgium, top 10 team in the world, Portugal, top 5 team in the world. Those are the last 3 matches. Then you go to Argentina, Cape Verde. I ain't even gonna look on the list. They're at least 50 plus. Egypt, I don't need to look. They're 50 plus.
I think they were 67.
Yeah, both over 50. Switzerland, I think, is 30. England, top 5 team in the world. So their paths to the finals, very different. Very different.
Imagine, and I know obviously in a world of hypotheticals, we both think that Norway could have very easily beaten England, which would have made Argentina's path to the final even more wild.
Yeah.
I don't know what their rank is.
Norway's like 28th or something.
As you pull this up, I would just like to point out that the term World Cup is complete bullshit. Excuse my language. The rankings have not been officially updated. So, it is not a world champion when the number 12 team in the world is not in the World Cup.
Yeah, we talked about that last time. Look, they didn't qualify. We talked about how I think New Zealand is like ranked like 85 and they're in the tournament, but Italy's 12 and didn't make it. So these are what the rankings were on day one of the World Cup. So before the World Cup matches have played, the rankings have obviously changed because the World Cup does affect them. So I'm going based on people coming into the tournament. So coming into the tournament, you got 1 versus 2 playing each other. You got 3 and 4 playing each other in that game. But again, when you look at the teams that made runs, Portugal, Morocco, Belgium, then you have to start going down a little bit to get some of the other teams. Keep going. Even Austria was 24th. Spain had to beat Austria. Like, even the worst opponent they played in the knockouts was better than the best opponent that Argentina played. Yeah. Still haven't found...
Norway was sitting at 31.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was looking for Argentina opponents. You know what I mean?
Egypt was, I think, 29.
Were they? There we go. Yeah, Egypt. Yeah, so Egypt at 29. So they barely cracked the top 30 with their opponents.
And where was Switzerland? Switzerland was like 20.
19.
Oh, 19. So 19, 29, and then 20 or like 67.
19, 29. We're looking for Cape Verde. 67. Yeah.
Which even more fun. That means in every round, the team they played wasn't even close to the round that they were in. So 67 in the round of 32. Then you got 29 in the round of 16. 19 in the round of 8. So they were constantly playing somebody who shouldn't even have been in that round, all the way up until like the top 4.
I like how the latest result for the U.S. is losing 2-1 to Germany. So, like, Germany and the U.S. decided to play a game during the World Cup. Is that what happened? Because I've now gone back to live rankings. These should be live. Oh, no. Hold on.
Yeah.
There we go. Back to live. Okay, I was very confused. There we go. Okay. So, Italy dropped to 15th after the World Cup, even though they didn't play.
Look at that. Still top 20.
Still not here.
How about Brazil going up 1 despite
losing to Norway, who's much lower ranked than them? But it's and Portugal took a massive fall because they lost to Spain by 1. Like, what? What is this about? I don't know.
I also think they didn't have a lot of wins during that time frame.
Right, but it's like
Mexico going up 4, pretty impressive.
No, but like for example, Belgium. So I looked at this before the Belgium-US game, or excuse me, before the Belgium-Spain game. Belgium was still 9. So Belgium, after losing 2-1 to Spain, moved up 1. Whereas Portugal, after losing 1-0, dropped 2. So explain that one to me. Anyway, we're off topic. All right, World Cup final, Spain and Argentina. You said you think it's Spain?
Yeah, I think it's Spain. I think they're going to play the same boring game that they did against France. I think they're going to score first. I think Argentina has shown that they're kind of sit back and wait. I think Spain's going to score first. And if you can hold France scoreless for 70-plus minutes, you can hold Argentina scoreless.
All right, well, for the sake of making the pod interesting, sometimes you're the team of destiny. And that's just what Argentina has been. They should not be here. They shouldn't. They should not be here. If you look at their road, even against these terrible teams they've played, they had to go to extra time to put away Cape Verde. They had to get a gift from the VAR gods and multiple goals in the last 10 minutes to put away Egypt. Switzerland, they had to go to extra time to beat when Switzerland played a man down for the last 50 minutes of the match. And against England, they had to score 2 goals at the very end after England decided to stop playing soccer and only play defense. If not, they probably lose this game. Argentina should not be here, and yet they are. It reminds me of Auburn, and this is going to hurt my own argument when I do it, the year that we made our second run to the championship in our lifetime, where we had like the prayer at Jordan Hare. You know what I mean? These plays that like should not have happened, and yet somehow they did with the team of destiny. Then we choked in the final. So that's not here or there. But the point being,
but in all, I mean, they basically won that final and somehow
and then choked it away. I don't think Argentina's going to choke it away because they're not college kids. So, yeah, Argentina to me just feels like the team of destiny. I agree with you. I think on paper, coming into this tournament, Spain had the best odds to win the tournament. They have been the best team in this tournament because they don't let people score. It doesn't matter if you're not flashy, you don't score a lot. When you don't give up goals, you only get 1 goal the entire tournament. But it's hard to argue with the team of destiny and with the GOAT. I think Messi's got one more magic moment in him, and he walks off in the sunset with the World Cup trophy and the Golden Boot. First time it's been done in 60 years to go back to back. So I'm taking Tina, and you're taking Ain.
Do we want to break the ice?
You talking a little pie?
Talking about a little pie.
Little pie? You know what?
Do we want to get the 2026 fantasy football season started in the FIFA World Cup?
Yeah, but let's make it different because this is a World Cup bet, not a. Because someone brought this up to me recently, Vinny, and not a football bet. What kind of pie? Instead of whipped cream for this bet, because it's different, it's the World Cup. What kind of pie?
That's a very interesting.
Add a little flavor. What is there a special like fruit that Spain or Argentina are known for?
I know Spain has like a Basque cheesecake.
Okay, I thought you were going to say like paella. I'm like, I'm not taking a paella out of the face. It sounds like pie, but it's not.
It does have the word pie in it.
It does sound like pie, but...
Yeah, ooh, shrimp. I don't know much about...
Just so we're clear, I'm not taking this to the face, just so people understand what I'm saying.
Although watching you take a full muscle to the face might be one of my favorite things. So let me think. Are there favorite? What do you? I'll look up most popular desserts.
Spanish potato
Argentina.
pie. That'd be interesting.
Oh,
almond pie. Spanish almond pie. Potato pie. Or Argentina. I guess it would.
So apparently, Argentina's a lot of dulce de leche.
A quince pie.
Nothing that looks like pies.
Okay, we'll figure out. Let's not have this debate on here. Let's just. Are you willing to agree that we're going to do a pie that is not whipped cream for this, like some kind of like actual like pie?
Yeah, like a flan, for example, which is more Mexican, but I feel like flan would be.
Well, we also have to keep in mind that it's going to be a lot easier for us to get a Mexican dish in Southern California than potentially a Spanish or Argentinian dish. So.
Yeah, we will go to Cardenas, and we'll just like say it how like the Spaniards would say it, like Cardenas. We'll just a little.
I'm from Barcelona.
Barcelona. Just a little lispy. We'll just say it a little lispy. But yeah, I'm down. Pie bet.
All right.
Spain, Argentina.
Spain versus Argentina pie bet. 1-2. Let's do it. All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap up the pod here, Vin?
No, I'm. I guess last thought would just be I am deathly scared of this World Cup coming to an end.
Yeah.
It leaves us in a very dark space.
Yeah,
for a few months.
The World Cup helped us get through part of the dark part of summer as far as sports goes. But look, we got 2 games left. Only one of them is likely to be great because the other one's probably not have their starters. And then after the 19th, we'll have a month and a half before we get football. So
Yeah.
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 But there'll be a lot more fantasy
wish,
talk. A lot more fantasy talk.
almost makes me wish this was like kind of like the NBA playoffs where it's like 3.5 months long. Let's just build. Whoever is in charge of FIFA, I am proposing a 3.5 month long World Cup.
They're already considering a round of 64 for the next World Cup. So
wait, is that real?
Yeah.
A round of 60. Why even do group stages?
Well, you'd be adding more groups, right? So like instead of it being 8 third place teams advance, you just have more groups and there will be less third place teams advance.
I mean, if that means that Italy makes a World Cup, I'm all for it.
All right.
I mean, let's just make the World Cup the Olympics. Like, why even qualify? Why just like limit it to the top, 40 teams, 48 teams? Let's just open it up. Are you in the FIFA rankings?
Because Germany beating Curacao 7-1 wasn't enough for you. You want to see France take on the Bahamas and just make it rain.
Do you have a national team? Let's do this. I mean, let's just make it work. Like, I'm just gonna go to filters live June 11th. How far will FIFA World Rankings let me go?
Hey, I want to point out, so the smallest country in the world does have a soccer team. It is not part of FIFA, but they considered asking to be a part of it. Do you know what country that is?
No.
Vatican City. The Pope considered talking to FIFA about getting into FIFA for the Vatican City team.
Okay, I lied when I said let them all in. There's 211 with the FIFA ranking. Apparently San Marino is the lowest ranked team at 211. When we get to 100, we're talking about Guatemala, Luxembourg, Vietnam, El Salvador, Tajikistan, Trinidad and Tobago, Mozambique, Madagascar. China, 91. It's pretty impressive.
San Marino has a population of 33.5 thousand people.
Yeah, that is smaller than Palm Desert.
Get them in. Get them in there, Vin.
Yeah, maybe we just accept the top 64. Just be like, all right, good luck.
Vatican City's got a team that got around about 900 people. Although 120 of them are Swiss guards, so they wouldn't be Vatican citizens.
Oh, yeah. Here you go, Iceland. Last result, 3-0 loss to the World Cup finalists, 74th in the world.
Hey, I was at that game.
Yeah.
All right. Let's stop ranting. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Say goodbye, Vinny. I'm gonna play us out.
All right. See y'all.
Peace.